Hello there. I'm DJ Literacy, and this is what I do for a living.
I got me things on my mind. I got me
What is that? Turntablism. Today I want to teach you about turntablism. You may or may not be familiar with the term, so let me help you out. Turntablism is the manipulating of pre-recorded sound on turntables to create an original composition. Typically, a turntablist uses vinyl records to create their beats. Sometimes it goes by other names like beat mixing, scratching, and mix matching. No matter what you call it, turntablism is an alternative literacy which encourages the establishment of identity, facilitates the development of self-expression, and allows an individual to combat social injustice. Alternative literacies is a term to capture ways of using language and text that extends beyond the traditional forms. They are an outlet for people who do not have access to standard forms of literacy. To show you how turntablism is an alternative literacy, let's first touch on the history of turntablism. Turntablism emerged mostly in urban areas as a poetic response to the discourses faced by urban youth. Issues of race, class, gender, and oppression explain the development of hip-hop culture and turntablism. It provided an outlet for expression, much as it does today. The practice of turntablism can help an individual form their own identity among a larger community. The ideas of turntablism and DJing are sometimes confused. Most commonly, a DJ is thought to be a person who plays music at parties or dances. However, a DJ turntablist can actually create new music from past creations. They can take music that they relate to and manipulate it to help them understand the meaning of the work or combine it in a way that completely reestablishes the meaning. In exploring the messages of others and mix-matching multiple works, they can figure out what they believe in and who they are, not only as a turntablist, but as a person as well. When someone becomes a turntablist, music becomes a part of who they are. They can apply this newfound creativity in other aspects of their lives. Turntablism allows an individual to establish their identity within a larger community. They can form relationships among other turntablists, musicians, and their audience. These groups can be called communities of practice. A community of practice could be a local church group, a school jazz band, or anywhere that a turntablist can find inspiration among others with similar interests. An individual needs to split their time between their communities of practice and having personal practice time. Having just one of these forms of learning will not allow an individual to readily discover their identity. It takes influence from outside sources as well as personal reflection for someone to know who they are and what it is they stand for. A turntablist must especially be aware of these things because one of their main goals is to create a beat that will include a message for others to learn from. Turntablism also allows the development of self-expression. This is represented most notably among the African American and Puerto Rican cultures. Hip-hop plays a major role in these cultures, and turntablism is at the forefront of what helped to start this hip-hop movement. As we have already discussed, the hip-hop culture mostly started in smaller, lower-income communities. Therefore, not everyone had an opportunity to be educated and develop their literacy skills. Through turntablism, individuals have a new way to express themselves. Mixing beats and performing for others opens doors for self-expression and communication. Practicing turntablists can use music to get their message across. Through the combination of different works, a turntablist can create a new meaning that expresses his or her views. The compiling of many pieces of music into one unified piece is as turntablist's way of having a conversation with his audience. Turntablists are sending out their meeting to an audience, but instead of writing words, they are writing with sound. Turntablists write themselves into history and simultaneously critique the speaker. Without turntablists, some individuals may never have the chance to have their voices heard. Turntablism is just another form of literacy that a person can express themselves through. It provides an outlet for those who may not be the best readers or writers. Instead of putting words together to create a message, they are putting beats, lyrics, and other songs together in a way that is a form of their own expression. Without turntablism, we may never have heard from those people who struggle to express themselves in a more traditional way. Turntablism also allows an individual to combat social injustice. Most people believe that turntablism is just a way of playing music that has nothing to do with literacy or oppression. To the typical turntablist, the music they create is much more than just music. Do you think that the Afro, Puerto, and Latin Americans who live in the Bronx during the 60s began turntablism for the musical aspect? During this time, these cultural groups still faced oppression just like they do today. These groups face social injustice day in, day out because of their cultures and skin colors. Turntablism united these groups and empowered them to resist social injustice. Through music, these cultural groups became one, and turntablism emerged as an agent of resistance. Why would a young African American student compile his savings in order to buy turntables? Because turntablism is something that he believes in, not plays. Turntablism is something political, not musical. Turntablism is something that touches, strengthens, and inspires individuals to resist social injustice. Identity and self-expression are huge parts of turntablism, and these things translate into resistance to social injustice. If you don't know who you are, how can you resist anything? If you don't know how to express yourself, how can you resist anything? When you have a solid identity, and when you act on who you are and what you believe in, these things naturally serve to combat social injustice. So what does this tell us? Turntablism reflects benefits similar to other, more traditional forms of literacy. Let's recap what we learned today. Point 1. Turntablism helps us to create our own identity among a greater community. Point 2. Turntablism enables us to discover a creative outlet by which we can express ourselves and what we stand for. Point 3. Turntablism provides us with an opportunity to combat social injustice. Point 4. Turntablism is more than music. It is literacy. Point 5. Turntablism cures cancer. But not really. But here's a beat that I created with the help of my friends. Composing this beat was a learning opportunity, and it made us realize what a difficult, creative process turntablism can be.
Everybody is